And so another book's finished. These are notes for my July 2026 reading of The Testament by John Grisham, which it turns out I had actually read before. But it's like one I'm picking off the shelf. I was like, I don't think I've read this one. Nope, I have. It was one of those books that I read of my own initiative back in the 1990s, 2000s. This one it might have been more 2000s, the 1999 book. All right, so today is Wednesday, 15 July 2026, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, talk through my book and reading notes for my July 2026 reading of a book about a wealthy man who dies and the drama surrounding his will and testament upon his death. The Testament by John Grisham, 1999, is a 2023 vintage books edition, paperback, ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Saturday, 4 July 2026, and finished the book on Wednesday, 15 July 2026, the day I'm filming this, and that's AD. It's 535 pages, including the author's notes section. It took me 10 days of reading. I did 20 pages Saturday, 4 July, 80 pages Tuesday, 7 July, 60 pages Wednesday, 8 July, 12 pages Thursday, 9 July, 58 pages Friday, 10 July, 60 pages Saturday, 11 July, 60 pages Sunday, 12 July, 60 pages Monday, 13 July, 70 pages Tuesday, 14 July, and 55 pages Wednesday, 15 July. And so marked my second time reading this book. And this was one of the John Grisham books I read when I was growing up in the 1990s/2000s. I read it solo and did not talk to anyone about it when I read it. That was back then. This time I, brought it up to the people I live with as I read it. However, I read it solo, so a little bit different than the first time. The book, maybe we'll do that. So there's a man with a lot of money. Like his net worth is 11 billion. And he's throughout his life, he's written a number of will and testaments, and he finishes writing his will and testament and estimate on testament, and he dies by his own doing. So people in his life, including family, multiple wives, lots of children kind of thing, are the type of asking for $1 million and not taking into account how he might feel about it. They hold false assumptions always in their favor. And so that's part of why he had so many different versions of wills written. It was like, people ask for money, people misbehave, so it keeps going, and then eventually he settles on a solution. He dies, and then leaves everything to a daughter the rest did not know about. Lawyers immediately probe his mental state at death. Can they frame him as crazy? Psychiatry gets it right, protects him even in/after death by maintaining factual accuracy to his appointments at the time of his writing the will and testament. And so this daughter that he leaves it to lives in Brazil. She's a missionary. She does missionary work, like Christianity type missionary work. And so they send individuals off to Brazil to find the daughter he left it all to. While gone, the family, including ex-wives, set lawyers upon the will. It was a family get all previous, no new debts paid off. Ex-wives get nothing, and the daughter Rachel gets everything. So they're kind of pissed off. They're like, they wanted money. They were expecting money, and that they could go and spend. That's not what the guy put in his will. So the daughter works as a missionary in a rural village, rural/village setting, and claims she is not interested in the money, though has an MD and knows 5 languages. So, it might be possible to, get her to kind of change that mindset. Proceedings continue without her. Her response is needed. And so, see, the kind of, without doing spoilers, it's taken to court to divvy up the money, and they really want money, this family, and she ends up being how can I differentiate myself from what's in the book? A Tanis way of phrasing it is, the money's not so bad if it doesn't come with the hassle of the family. So there's an option of, there's a lot of lawyers, there's the legal system of there's an option where it's settlement. So essentially, to stop being badgered by the rest of the family, she could pay a certain sum, and she gets her money, and they get their debts paid off, but then there's of the money from the will, an additional blank goes to the lawyers/family members in a settlement, which could be negotiated kind of thing. So there's that pathway. The temporal setting, the man died on 9 December and initial reading of the will was 27 December. So over the holidays, this part in the United States of America, also the number 9. So he dies on 9 December. So it was a, you know, there's the timeliness of the death of, it kind of interfered with their normal holidays. So maybe that's part of why they want to get it done so quick. In addition to it being a lot of money, or $11 billion. At least for me, as in my perspective, that's a lot of dollars, United States of America dollars. So there we go. The holidays matter there. It's full text pages throughout, smaller fonts, but maybe like 1.25 spacing. And copy or note about this was how I found this book, like how I found St. Peter's Gate in Scotland in July 2019. Yes, and that I found both solo. As for the content of each book and experience, each were a reminder that my Josh Kerr, a full-blooded Scotsman, is my moving guy and my gravesite guy. A character in this book is Josh Stafford. Scottish has 2 T letters as well. Even Josh even drinks Scotch. My Josh, yeah. So there's a Stafford, like it's Scottish, double T. They bring up Forbes, a rival Scottish clan of my Gordon Scottish clan. Fortune in origins is Greek. So author John Grisham perhaps is pointing to my Josh and I. This book is more to move me in with my Josh than the people who raised me, as of when this video was filmed. Good to have support outside the house. So I was like, this is one of those ones that, you know, like maybe it's like pointing to me and my guy. Like maybe there's stuff in the world that's like been encrypted about me, my guy, and this one's not as subtle of an encryption. They're like, dude, she's your girl, he's your guy. Thank you, John Grisham. I actually, that's one that I was like, huh. Back when I read this, you know, like, what would that be? Over 20 years ago? 20 years ago? Something like that. Anyway, those are my notes from my July 2026 reading of The Testament by John Grisham. And up next, for those who are interested, Bed and Breakfast by Susie Dumond, the 2025 book. If I'm recalling correct, it's a little over 300 pages. Yeah, and I think we'll see when I get started. Today? I don't know. Soon.